Hello guys. Second part of the stream. Please confirm if you can hear me or if something is wrong with the video. We will be rigging this character, the second part. We'll be finishing the torso and hair, and maybe fixing something on the tentacles. Great. Everything is good. Thanks, Selmi, for confirming. Okay, give me 3 minutes and we will start after that. I'll be back. Okay, I'm ready to start. Cool. So, just quick rundown on the tentacles that we have done. We have animating tentacles using simple movements like this, scaling them or shearing them, and every bone will be doing that. I did the similar way, and then offsetted them, offsetted each bone, and then offsetted even the timelines. And some of them I also separated the axis of the bones, which you can do here. I don't see it here. I mean, you can see it in animation mode. I was confused really. Okay, so after that we have one bone for each tentacle that is just for rotation. So it's for directional rotation. So if we select all those bones and rotate them, this goes differently because it is flipped. But if we rotate them, you can see that character will be doing same animations, just in a different angle. So if we rotate this one, I can see that this one is behaving very chaotic. But it is a very lightweight tentacle, so maybe I will leave it that way. It has a little bit different problem. It is like a paper, but let's leave it for now. It can be fixed just by removing scale. I did it just to give some 3D perspective. Okay, so we have that bone. We have simple bones that just rotate. we have a mesh that I put the bone in intersection of each lines. If it has another vertices in the center, I would make sure that there is a vertex. So for example, these ones have that. So you can see each bone starts at intersection of the vertices. This helps better to bend nicely. And yeah, everyone starts at the intersection. So that's also another important thing. When you mesh, make sure that you have middle, if you add middle ring, make sure that this has orange line. So when you smooth it, weights travel across it. And yeah, basically that would be it. Oh no, I forgot that main tentacles, these 3 tentacles, will also have separate rig for path constraints. This is just optional thing. This character does not require it because it is floating, and this setup only when the characters are actually on the ground or holding something, or like a weapon or big object or leaning on something, wall or whatever. So if there is need for Aiki, you would go and create another setup of the same bones. And I would duplicate the same, just selecting the root bone and duplicating it and creating a path. Let me show it to you. Each main tentacles have path. I want to show you the original version of the character so you can see. I just want to copy its name. Yeah, this one. So even though it is floating as an original design, the character itself is presented mostly standing on the ground. You can see it here. So in case you want to do that way, or you want to experiment, I will leave this rig, the path. So to make it usable, you need to go ahead and select all constraints for each bone and make them bigger values so they stick to the path constraint bones. I want to demonstrate one of them. Let's assume we take the middle. I will hide this so you don't get confused. Hide this and this. We have 5 tentacles in total, 3 main ones and 2 additional. So let's assume we have this tentacle and it is pretty much floating in there nicely, and we want to make it standing on the ground. For that, you would go select all the bones that are freely animating here, and then select the constraints numbered by 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 12. You can go ahead and place them in a folder, and then you would just one by one click here. Make sure the link sliders is enabled, otherwise you will need to click one by one for each. Select it and then go ahead and do it for every other bone, I mean constraint. So you can see how it is aligning up with the path. At the end, if you think that this is enough, you can leave it so tip continues animating, but the body is standing there. So let's leave it this way. And this path is weighted bound to this set of I keys. Every construction is placed inside this root bone. So we see that it is also bound to the hip, the mesh, but the bones that constrains everything is constrained to this, contained inside this bone. Okay, now you can go ahead and also constrain all the tip bones, or maybe just give them more values. It is not discrete. You can give like in between values a little bit, and so at the tip you actually reduce the value. Yeah, let's say it's 0. And I will also make sure that all start in front 0. Great. So our character is standing, and let's assume it's moving up and down. For that we have this bone. I will change the icon for something more prominent. And will have like up and down. Don't be confused, I will fix it in a moment. So instead of putting also the target inside this structure, I need to move those targets outside. And there should be another one. Here's it. I will hit P and move them outside. Let's put it inside the character container. So if we move the character, it also moves everything inside. Right now, you will see that if body goes up and down, we see that it is standing on the ground, pretty much a little bit sliding there, but it is natural. We will have slithering character. So this is the way you could use. We have two controls. One, this would be this path, and the other one would be this directional rotation. So it will not work right now because the path will override it. But if we don't use path, it will be very useful for walking, running, or wind, whatever. So you get the idea. Now I will delete this constraint bone so we can see a character floating on the ground. We'll remove this, and this was the intro of the stream we did yesterday. I will leave the link to the video in the description so you can check it. It's 2 hours. And pretty much similar approach we will do with the hair. I mean, maybe even with the path constraints, because hair should be on the shoulders. So maybe I will also do it. My spine is 4.1. Anyway, this version. So maybe that's the reason. Okay. Next, let's mesh it. And when you mesh a character, make sure you understand what you need from that mesh to do. Otherwise, you might go ahead and do a lot of just details that you don't need. I mean, there is no reason to add more details. Just add enough so you are comfortable with working with, and not that looks nice. So we will have bending at this section. We have metallic parts, so I would go ahead and add some points so I control them so they don't distort too much. But mainly at this upper portion, I don't want to be stretching too much. Shoulder would be nice to be stretched because we will have a bone for that. We already have it. And I'm going quick this portion because I don't want to think about how I'm going to rig the neck right now. I can easily come back and fix it. But better to do a little details and leave it and then come back and add more. Because if you make more details, mostly you won't address them later. So start from small amount. Okay, I will go up this way. I'm thinking of this section being pretty much static because it's hip bone. Well, this character doesn't have proper anatomy. I mean, we don't know how it's constructed, but I would assume this is the whole solid bone. And we will raise from that. I want to make sure that these portions will be bent. If I go add it here, these all triangles will be bent, stretched and squashed. So I want to make sure if I need this metal portion to be broken. If I don't need, I would go and move this point here. So I'm making sure that this portion is bent, and this is pretty much leather or whatever soft material. So similarly, I will add another one here. And I will make sure that most bending is happening inside these triangles. If I need, I would go ahead and add more. But right now I will continue with this setup. Okay, let's go up. And we'll finish it here. Since I do have these bones for shoulders, I'm already thinking how I will divide this section. So I need very smooth transition with the shoulder. And it is not easy to predict everything right now. I mean, you need a lot of experience doing that. But you can start from. So you can see where we have a nice triangles. This portion will be mostly bending. And I will try to replicate it also here. So we have, again, nice triangles. And I am having 1 point here, so I actually control this necklace, so it's not being stretched too much. And what else I can add here? Maybe 1 bone here, just to have this also portion. Okay. If you want to animate her breasts, boobs, you need to think about it. If you want to make it 3D, you already need to mesh a lot of pieces here, so it's moving 3D. But I'm personally not doing 3D too much on the body, especially if body is thin, fit, and small. So it's not visible, that 3D. But if you need, you should do it already here. Okay, maybe I will add 1 point here, so I will preserve this circular. Yeah. Let's see how it works. Too much talking. Okay, I'm binding it here. This bone, I'm skipping this bone because this bone basically just a container bone for these 2 bones. It only contains these 2 bones. It should contain it. If it's not, maybe we need to fix it. I also need this. Maybe I will add this binding later. So let's start from 4 bones that I have selected. The bottom one, I will enable overlay. It helps a lot to see the proportions. Maybe there are sharp pieces, which you can see here. It's a little bit sharp. It tells that there is a big triangle. Maybe you want to make it smaller. And it's not always a thing to add a point. Maybe you need to cut it differently. But it's up to you. I will just go ahead and make it smoother. Okay, I'm pretty sure even without that it would be okay. So let's smoothen it once, I guess it's enough. Maybe twice. We don't need this neck bone to travel so far, so I will just remove it. Maybe remove it from here and from here, I guess. From here and here. This neck bone is really just for neck. Maybe a little bit for this portion, but not much. Okay. Well, I'm not going to bend it this much. Maybe I will also adjust this vertex, but I'm not going to bend it this much. And even if I do, I can quickly come and fix it when I do it. Okay. Let's see, we have 12. People watching now, it's cool. Just give me a second to take off my hoodie. Back. Much better. Okay, so now this shoulder bones is optional. You can go ahead, do it, or if character is very big or detailed, it will add nice details. But I mostly don't do it. Now we will add them. So again, we have a sharp color that travels from here. Let's see if we can fix it as well. I think this should go here. When you move points, make sure to update bindings. Otherwise, they will still calculate from old point. Hello, Penocom. Okay, now let me see what we can do. Maybe I will add weights here. Let's test it. It's dragging too much from the neck. It should not be perfect, so you don't create something that is behaving like in real life or 3D. So you need to understand how much it's going to bend. So maybe this is pretty much, I am going to even use this kind of poses. So it looks ugly, but in animation, it's really not noticeable if you really do the correct poses animations. Timing. So let me quickly double check, and I will maybe add it here. I think I need more point here. Okay. No, not okay. I don't want the necklace to be moving. Yeah, this is working for me. This is almost good, but let's not move the neck this much at all. Cool. I love how they open and close. Makes it look natural. But in reality, it would be very stiff objects, I believe. I see we have problems with the pivot point. This is not good. Maybe I can fix it by changing it. We should go ahead and add it from here. Yeah, this is much better. And just for the sake of the looking nice, I will redraw also this. And to see them better, I will also change the color. So let's make them black. This is very easy to distinguish. And now let's see how it actually bends the spine. I don't like how the bottom part is actually bending. I will go ahead and remove the weight from this at all. And now this is looking okay, except this part here. I guess it's not terrible. Let's see if we can fix it. Yeah, I like it more. And maybe remove the value from here also. I don't want this section to be affected. Yeah, looking good. And what about this? Looking good. We see we lost connection with the tentacles, which can be easily fixed by just removing the weight from this portion. Cool. And yeah, we are pretty much good. I am bothered about this long bone. I mean, the character will look stiff, but I really don't want to add more bones here. So if at the end we see that this portion in animation, well, if we animate, is looking stiff, we could go ahead and add another bone, maybe, because the character's torso is really long. But I will try to do everything to not add a bone, because that will create another bone to animate, and this spine is really important place, so it always we will be animating it carefully. Okay, so we have the arm, nothing to do here. I'm not going to add bones for that. It will be super long stream and we really don't need that. And I personally also don't use this kind of rig. I mean, we could go ahead and add another section for IKEA here and do complex setup where we like mimic the muscle behavior, joint behavior of this section. But it is going up very nicely. Now let's deal with the fingers. Okay, I'm looking where it is going to bend actually. Yeah, I will post PSD in and spine file in this description. So but obviously you can't use them in your game or whatever, just for educational purposes. I mean, I myself don't have rights to do it. I have not asked the artist, because at the beginning I was trying to reach them, but not all folks are actively following their social media, so my messages just got lost. So I make sure that this is for educational purposes and I'm mentioning their name so they get the credit. But so be respectful and don't use them in your games. So what I do here, I am thinking of joints. I'm placing details there and placing another vertex so in the placement where bone is. So the bending is much more nicely. Yeah, maybe add another bone here and one more here. And we will leave this portion rigid as it is. And by the way, this mesh had a lot of empty spaces. I reverted it back so you can see. You can go ahead and fix it in Photoshop, just cut them into pieces, or when you export it, you have an option to pack with polygons. This method will, by default, it is rectangles. But if you go with polygons, it will actually come and see the mesh hole, the edges, the outlines, and consider that and while packing. Just to demonstrate it to you, I will go ahead and export it right now, the JSON. And you can see it here. Can you? So this is our hand, and it is pretty much used. There is a white space here. It is used, all that white space is being used. You can see if it was not mesh, I will go ahead and disable the mesh and export it again with same polygon enabled. You can see that it is, it cannot use it. Here is that arm and all white space is there. So just so you know, it is really important. Even if you don't mesh, you don't bend it, if your game engine allows you to use polygon method of packing, go ahead, mesh them, and yeah, that will go ahead and pack nicely. Let me read chat. I don't know how to answer to this. I would go and use it, of course, crediting the artist, and I guess it is okay because it's not always you can reach them. But maybe you should try to reach them. I really don't, I'm not the person to answer properly on this question. But at least you could go ahead and credit them. Okay. We have our mesh back. I undo all changes and let's go ahead and not lose a lot of time here. If you go ahead and add more vertices here and bind it that way, it will also work, but your fingers will look without phalanges, like soft things. So make sure this section is straight. You don't need to make it soft. Okay, we need more points here. It doesn't matter which weight you will give this bone, this or this. Anyway, it won't move because it is at the origin point of this bone. Okay, let's test it. Okay, okay. You can see right now I don't see the bones, so I would like to see it, so I place the vertices properly. In that case, you can go ahead, just add some general hole, and then when it reveals, when you close the cycle, it reveals, you can do it with the create button. So you can see that I need to move them a little bit lower. Or you may even not create new, hit new, just create that that meshes here. Anyway, we are working with very little vertices, so it's not that difficult to clean them up afterwards. I did not see any sale. I mean, as long as I know the spine. I mean, there is default sale for it, but it's there just for marketing purposes, I guess. I don't think they will be doing any sales. Okay, we have this working, we have this working. No, we don't have it working. So we need to mesh this arm. I was actually thinking about collecting some money from the YouTube channel that is automatically is gathering, and then do some giveaway of the license. I have not researched how it is being done. I mean, maybe I will just buy it and send it to the email that won the giveaway. But yeah, for that we need to see if we have more supporters for this channel. I have opened up the premium membership. So for some countries, they will be able to see join button. And that's where they can choose to support. Yeah, I heard a lot newcomers struggling with the license. They really want it, but they are not there to earn money. So my advice would be to go ahead and practice without the license. And at the moment they start to work, they have really no option to just buy it. But it's really tricky moment. It's really. I mean, the spine doesn't offer good conditions for newcomers. They have very good condition for businesses because it's relatively cheap software. But not for newcomers. Cool. I'm wondering why my stuff just shifted to the left side. I have no idea. Let me check the original. Oh no, it's not shifted. I thought it should be. Oh no, it is shifted. It should be like this, I guess. No. Let me see the original art. No, it's really should be rotated. Yeah, I forgot to rotate it. I brought it here without rotation, but it should be like this. And obviously the art should follow. Maybe we should rotate the bone itself. Cool. Yeah, there is of course hacked version, but the moment you start working with that version, there are clients that just ask higher version. So it is really not working. The spine is a very unique program that it is super hard to hack. Because it is constantly evolving, and hackers should always be there to just hack it. Okay. So I need to bind it to this bone, but not this. So if I need to rotate this bone without moving the fingers, I can do it. Otherwise, fingers would stretch like this, which we don't want. That's why I will select this and bind again to these bones. Okay, for this, I did not need this. This. We should make sure that it is not rotating too much. I mean, we could go ahead and rotate this bone if it needs to be rotating, or rotate the hand itself, but not fingers. Naturally, this would be the maximum amount it would rotate, for which we pretty much rigged it properly. The important thing is that we did it with very less effort. How much bones we have? No bones for fingers, no constraints, etc. Okay. And if we one day want to move this stuff up, so she hits with it, we pretty much can do it. One thing is that we cannot rotate it from this point. So the only bone we can rotate it here or this bone. If it's not enough and we want to make some kind of artistic rotations, like spinning in place, we can go ahead and add another bone here. And only that attached. But at the moment, I don't need that. And if I do need later, I will add it. Okay, but for little finger, we need some bones, yeah. One bone. Let's make it two. I do have one video about tips and mastering the bones. It's old, 1 year old, but it contains a lot of cool stuff. So I don't know about types of bones. There is only one type of bone, which is the bone, but there are a lot of uses to it. So check that video. It's called Tips Bones. Let me see. Yeah. Here is it, just so you see the name. And I also have another video about similar tips about the mesh. There is one type of videos that fly very high in this channel. Can you guess which video would be? If I make like video starting with that topic, this video is guaranteed to be the first, second in the channel. So I can give you options like video about animations, video about spine's features like skins, path constraints, overall constraints, and the video about VFX, which is the most demand. Can you guess? Okay, so in this, for this hand, I did really go with 2 bones. I did not mesh it yet, but I thought about it and it should work. I'm not going to move this hand too much. It is secondary hand. So let me add a vertex for each tip of the finger. And then I will come back and maybe add more details. When you delete the vertices, pay attention if they are really deleted. You can see 2 lines are overlapping. Well, it is visible here, but sometimes it's really not visible, so you might lose it, and then it would create problems in rigging. Yeah, VFX is in high demand. I have a feeling that there is a community. When they see VFX video, they just share inside like private community, and that's why it's picking up that high. Or maybe that topic is really not covered well. But I really don't know what to add more about VFX. I mostly do the same stuff just for different scenarios. I'm happy that my videos can help people. Thanks for watching. By the way, let me try one thing. I have enabled the chat overlay that would be visible on the screen. I want to see if that works. Okay, let me see if that renders something. Okay, now I will give all to this bone and then continue from here. Okay, this is a tricky moment, so I'm going to move all fingers with only this bone, but I want to give some kind of overlapping feeling, some 3D stuff. So for that, I will wait. This finger would be the frontal, the most affected. And the other fingers, I will give less and less value. Pretty much working. I just need some fixes. So this is the main movement I'm going to do with this bone. So nothing spectacular, just to show that it is moving. I want to showcase you different ways of rigging. If you have time, go ahead and rig everything like this, maybe even more detailed. Or like this hand is very close to us, it's on foreground, and that's why I will do that detailed rig. So I show how elegant she is moving her fingers. At the interior part of the joint, I will do 2 points, while at the exterior part, I will do 3 points. Just when it bends, we see some bulging up mesh. At these moments, I really don't like. I mean, I'm going to cut few pixels just to save one vertex, but I will not cut pixels. Yeah, it seems chat is not rendering. Something is wrong there. And we can see that this bone should be actually here, starting here for better bending, but it's not. So I will remake it and everything is cool. Disable wireframe and go ahead, bind it to the bones. we will have problems here, but I will fix it in a moment when I see how it behaves actually. Okay, let's check it. Not cool. Okay, so this is possible scenario, so we need to take care of that. If I move this to this bone, it will make the arm thinner. If I give it to this value, it will get this portion thinner. So maybe we should just mix it. It's not always you want to change the thickness of the arm. Okay. Now let's see. This is working okay. This is okay. This is not okay, as I guessed. So we need one more bone. Vertex here. And that would listen to this bone. If you want to change the order of the drawing the mesh, how it overlaps with itself, you can try moving them. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it does not, as with this case. Okay, let's leave it. Okay, last finger. See that this hand took me much more time than the previous one. And this is when you get experience, because when people say, clients say, hey, estimate this task, the most of your experience will come how correct you will estimate. You can go ahead and say higher price and scare the clients, and you won't get projects. But you can get and really understand yourself and say, hey, this is very easy to do or very long. So if you do the correct estimation, this is the foundation of you being a professional animator. So my suggestion would be, if you are working as a freelancer, I mean, otherwise estimation is good, but not that crucial. Because at the end, there are managers who set up work in progress, so they should take care of that estimation, etc. Okay. So we have our arm rigged. And yeah, so when you cut in Photoshop and you see that we have you have this kind of arm, and you say, hey, let's not cut it into pieces. Why should I? But it is very important to understand if this arm comes close or maybe covers the frontal part, but the shoulder is behind the body, so the hand is in front of it, you really need to cut it. Otherwise, it will create layering problems. So you can see that this shoulder is behind, but the arm is in front of it. And let's see. Yeah, see, we have ordering layers here, but I'm not going to fix them. I don't want to waste your time here. I will fix them while I animate it. I mean, important to not fix in animation mode, layering order, and fix it in setup mode. But I will tackle it after I start animating. And we'll also change the colors here so I can clearly see which hand is which. So the lower arms I will set to black. Can I? No, I will give them different color. I saw a lot of people just making them transparent so bones do not clutter the view. I really never use transparency of the bone. Instead, I have a shortcut for hiding quickly the bones and showing them. So if I don't need this portion, I would go ahead and hide it. But if I don't need to see the bones, I would hit Control B. So I'm looking at the character, or even I would look mostly in the preview window where things are without bones. It is very helpful because sometimes you are deep inside the weighting, etc., even with overlay. But here, whatever modifications you do here, it's not. It only shows the final result. So that's why I normally go and color the bones, so I grab them easily. I see them easily. So this is also the back. I will only color these two bones. I don't need the hand. I can clearly see the bones there. Maybe a little bit darker. And these ones I will leave as they are. I don't want to like create a Christmas tree here. That is also distracting. Just something that is quickly understandable. So when I see at the chest, I clearly see two bones for clavicles. And yeah, we have this arm rigged. We have this arm rigged or no? Oh yeah, we have it. Good. And now I would like to move to this tentacle. So you also have some interesting. If you have missed the previous stream about these all tentacles, here are they. And why can't I see them? Oh, I should be able to see them. I clearly have no idea. Did I disable attachments? Yeah. How? I have no idea how I did it. Okay. We have our tentacles. I have an issue here. It is very stiff here. It's not animating as I would love to see. This bone should have more rotation. We can fix it by just increasing the rotation. For that, you can filter only rotation, hit store to save correct current curve, and just scale it. So you see the previous version of the curve. You can go ahead and scale it very high, so you see the actual curve is being changed. Now you change the amplitude. What you need to do is bring back as too much the previous, or maybe you just see it in the game. So this is too much going to the left, and I will move it back. No, the amplitude is super strong. Let's dial it down. Okay. Yeah, I'm good with this. Hello, we have something interesting in our chat. That's a graph. I don't even know what is this. It should be some kind of donation. And we can see it in the chat. Thank you very much. Really, it's super new for me. And as I said, I am really concentrating on this channel to improve it. And I know that I first need to make it better, to make more videos, so you see that it is really changing, and then invest. But yeah, so I'm very happy to see any support from you guys. Thank you. And my ultimate goal is to collect some amount and then create a giveaway and like give some licenses to people who just started. And if you have ideas how I can find actually those people who just joined, they really want to dive into this career, they already have a lot of experience practicing, and now they need that license. How can I find them? Like polls. I don't want other professional guys just grabbing this license, or people who is here just to take that license and then just drop the spine. So if there is a way to find those people, I would even do it now. I mean, the channel is already accumulated enough money for that. Cool. And yeah, I just got distracted by these tentacles. I wanted to fix it, but I don't like how it's fixed. Anyway, I will fix it. It's not that hard to fix. Just let me move with the tentacle here. In original art, we can see we have very nice composition, dynamic hair. They are pretty much not laying on the shoulders, but I will also show you the way how you can combine. Like if she is moving, they will be flying behind nicely, and if she is staying still, they will be animating but continuing leaning on the shoulders. So first we need to make them a mesh. And yeah, we have a lot of path constraints in this project. It's not like I'm saying you to avoid creating path constraints, but yeah, they are complicated things. Don't overdo them. Mainly so to not create headaches later. Let me add more stuff here. And maybe even more here. One more here. Cool. Now I will select the head bone. Why not just create the rig inside the head? And I will go ahead and make it manually, just not split the bone. For that, I will enable wireframe. So I see the meshes, the vertices, and I go ahead and just add the bones where I want them. Okay, how many bones I want here? Hard to say. Maybe 2. No, it's too much. I will make 1 bone. And again, I am really trying to make them on this line where we have vertices, so that will create better bending. And let me mute my phone so we don't get distracted. Okay, now I can see that it did not do a very good job of calculating weights automatically. We can see equal vertices have totally different weights, and same applies here. So maybe we can go ahead and do it manually. It should not be that hard. Here are we good, good, good. Here also we good. Maybe here we could be better. Okay, now I will just smooth it. But before that, I will rotate it so I can see how smoothing works. Boom. This is the moment when I use the preview window. So I'm looking at the preview window now. Boom. And I think I need more vertices here. So let's add another vertex here. And maybe here. I will hit update bindings. And actually I need to delete these lines, otherwise they will interfere on the smoothing thing. Yeah. Hey, what's happening to you? We don't need that much here and here. Okay, now let's soften it. Yeah, I'm pretty much happy with this. And let's revert it back. Cool. So we have basic bones, which is great. I will go ahead and animate it now. We have 19 watchers. So where is direction for our end? They are pretty much hanging. Okay. Let me quickly check again. How many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe 7. Yeah, it's a lot actually. Okay, yeah, I will be saving the stream. Thank you for watching. Omnichik. Omnichik. It's Russian name, I guess. Cool. Let's move it back. Yeah, even you watching this video is really a lot of help. I mean, my watch times, I get ads. Sorry for running ads. But yeah, I think we all get used to those ads. Cool. I will hang it here and then go to animate. So what I want to do, am I animating it like this? I want to see. Yeah, they pretty much okay-ish. I mean, I will fix their timing, I mean, the length of the animation. That will be different. So, okay, let's start from moving them apart. I will actually create another bone just as a container. I'm doing the similar setup for the as with the tentacles. Cool. Let's change the icon. Now I'm moving, changing to local frame of reference. And I guess I'm not going to move this, so I will start here moving. I'm moving the green arrow, which would be the y-axis. Move it. Further you move it, further waves it will, the stronger waves it will create. But the thinner it will become, distortion will be not realistic. So yes, Valerie, I will save the stream. You can see this could be better. Yeah. Now I will select them by order because I'm going to save the selection under number 1. Okay, now at 20 frame, let's go back to dope sheet and do the same but the other way. Make sure to move it a similar way, I mean similar amount of distance. You can experiment by moving it like further. So let me bring it here. So it moves here. So it further it goes, more it moves, or the other way, like further it goes here and then less and less it goes there. So with this tentacle, I will try to do further and less. So let's do it here. I will do more and then start reducing that distance. Let's see what it will create. So I will delete rotation keys. I don't need them now. At 20 frames, we need a similar setup. So far, not that far. Okay, bringing back, and back. Let's compare them. Good and good and good. Yeah, we need to make them symmetrical, at least looking like symmetrical. Otherwise, we would have some random width. I am from Armenia, answering to Leonid Kim, but I live in Spain now. Okay, now I'm moving them down by moving red. And we'll do the same, moving down further at the basement and then less and less at the tip. So I'm doing 2 cycles of it. It's here, then it's here, and then it's again moving down. So it should do some curve. Let me soften it. It doesn't look good now, but it will, I promise. So first I separate the translate frame timelines, translate timelines. And I want to make sure that this axis, the green axis that we, the y-axis that we moved left and right is only 1 cycle. So we should remove these dark blue frames from 10 and 30 frames. Let's filter only Y and delete them. Bye-bye. So So it's much softer now. Now I will offset the y-axis, the one that goes x-axis, one that goes to cycle. Let's see if it's smooth. Maybe the other way. You can see that I'm basically playing with it. It's not like something from the book. Let's for now leave it. I'm scared that it will affect undesired way. And again, now I will rotate them. I will be rotating here most. Let's try that one. And then reducing the rotation. It will be a little bit different. Maybe we will have like spiky animation, like sharp, and it's not gonna look soft. But let me at least try it. I really never did try it. Separate axis from 4.0, yeah. Okay, I will compare them. This is not gonna look nice. When you select the frames, you normally would go select. If you select with selection box, if you think that you have copied now this frame, actually you did copy also the empty frames here, like the span, empty span. So if you pass at 27, it will actually pass on 30 frame. It's because you selected the empty section here. So it's copying this whole rectangle. If you want to copy only this frame, select it or just come here and make sure that it ends at that frame. I hope that will solve your problem. Yeah, I can see the chat on the screen. It's good because I will separate publishing this video as not stream, and people often ask, where is the chat with whom you are talking? Now you see, you know. Okay, now I have rotation, and now let's actually do that offsetting. First, I will offset all rotations, and now I will go ahead and enable all timelines and rotate, offset them. I will do offset even by reducing amount. So 5 frames, 4 frames, 3 frames, and 2 frames. Again, 2 frames, and last one will be 1 frame. Okay, so this, I will go ahead and duplicate this so you see the difference. I want to see it myself, honestly. Okay. Now, I will leave this one since I have selection for this one, and I will redo this. I will do it quickly. So this time I will go ahead and do less shifting and more shifting at the end. Let's stretch this tentacle more. The idea will be exactly the same. So, and at the end, whichever version we like, we will add a scale and maybe shearing and whatever we want, maybe. Okay, copying this to here, adding that downwards movement, less, and starting to grow more here. It's gonna look very long. I am also trying to exaggerate it so we see actually with what we work. I'm working fast here, so because we actually saw how it looks now. I'm rotating it, but I need to remove rotation. Oh no, it's not rotating, just moving. And then more and more and more, and this is going to look crazy. So we are doing one circle. Let's remember that circle because we are going to do it the other way here. And let's compare. This one is more traveling inside. I think this is the bone we need. Let me compare. Yeah, pretty much the same. Not exactly, but it's the same. So I'm offsetting it. We can clearly see that this is much more active. And now we need to offset it. Okay, we'll close it and go offset it. I see the ordering has changed. Let me reselect it again. So this is this. Yeah. What's happening? Okay. Now we are good. 5 frames, 4 frames, 3 frames, 2 frames, another 2 frames, and last one, 1 frame. And I think I did screw up. It's not what I'm supposed to see. Let me revert. And yeah, let me select them again. There is something wrong with the order. 5 frames, 4 frames, 3 frames, 2 frames, 2 frames, and 1 frame. Yeah, this is so. Yeah, the first one is when you start big offset changes from the foundation and then go less. I want to see which one I like more. Actually, none of them. If we go ahead and make the timeline longer, maybe things will become calmer. Let me check the original art. I see it's very static here. It's not that aggressive. Let me control Z actually and do everything. I think rotation was too much. So maybe we will try less. And maybe more aggressively add only at the tip of it. And let's see how this goes. If it's not working again, I will leave it. We have other stuff to do. I want to reduce that aggressive movement from it. Okay. I don't know why the order is changing constantly. I really don't know. I'm saving it, but then at some point I see it changing. It is again changed. So let me select again. And this time, maybe we go and do the equal amount, 3 frames. Or maybe at the end we make some more frames. Let's see. Yeah, I think these last ones can be 3 frames. Yeah, this is much more like it. So we keep static foundation and then make the whip the bottom. And this will be much better if we add scale, etc. So here we will have bigger version. Smaller version and bigger version. It's random really. Anyway, we can later offset it. So I want to give some 3D effect to it. And shear. Okay, we have 3D rotation. It's like helicopter. Now we can actually go and separate the shear right away. Do some offset. It's not gonna give big effect. And let's try to change the scale also. Okay, this broke that simple 3D rotation effect, which is good. We want it to move in 3D, but not that obvious. And now we are ready to offset them too. So I will select shearing, and similar manner we'll again select them. I need to think why it is changing the order. It is really inconvenient. Frames. Now we can go ahead and only scale and shearing, select them and try to see which one is working. I'm looking at the preview window. I hope my face is not disturbing that view for you. Too much 3D. Yeah, I will leave it this way. Too much 3D. they will look very chaotically. So now another thing, I will create a bone here. This will be our rotator. So let's name it air 1 container and change this icon. We'll call it air 1 rotator. So this is for direction of that animation. Yeah, so now I will select all bones and constrain them. We don't need to go and select one by one. Match it, make it local. Now we have actually created one constraint. It's not created by the number of the bones, but one constraint that actually contains all the bones that are constraining. So we have one setting to play with. We have hit the match. Now we need to add that rotation value, which would be 18. It's enough. Now I will move it back. And rotate it this way. Yeah. No, this is too jumpy. What's wrong? No, we really need that. I have no idea what's happening. So we are in the head bone and we need that constraint. I will remove that constraint and create it again. Now let's go without hitting much. It should not be the problem, honestly. Oh my god, I have no idea why it's jumping. Something is flipped, definitely. We have similar structure with this, exactly the same structure. What's happening? So we have local, we have even much hit, and we have our bones. So this has a rotation. It should not be the case. Okay, so the parent has yeah, sorry for being too showing too complex stuff without explaining. Maybe the rotation, initial rotation is the problem. We'll create it again. No, this is definitely not good. Okay, I will try once again, and if I fail, I will just continue without it. And maybe we'll show it here. But this is not something I should spend time. You know what, maybe there is a problem with the ordering, which should not be. Let me try to reorder it. Let me move this from the parent. And try to not. No, I don't have courses. Everything is on this channel. I have a series of rigging from scratch, but I don't think it is explained too well for beginners. It's called Tracer Tutorials. It's fine on the channel. Okay. Well, Relative fixed it, but it should not be the problem. But at least we have it working. Yeah. Let's see if animation. Yeah, it's cool. So this way, you can change the direction. And last thing is that I want to show you. Let me see the stream. Where we at? My God, 2 hours. So last thing I want to show you is how to create the path. I did show it yesterday. I think I will avoid showing it now. Yeah. Instead, I will go ahead and rig the face. So this is also something new for you. I really hope that I will not have the part 3 for this, but I guess let me ask it in the chat actually. Okay, I'm creating a poll. We'll leave it there for 10 minutes and then see what you say. Feel free to vote. Okay, I'm going to rig the face. But it's gonna be very easy. I will do some 3D, but it's gonna be easy stuff. Let's even not include. So we have ear. I will be adding one bone for each ear. And I will also make these eyes blink. I don't know if I should. Yeah, let's also do these eyes as well, blinking. I will not create many assets here. Just easy blinking. Really not necessary. So this is the ring for each eye that will be blinking. I am creating a ring to preserve the face, and then I will create interior part, which will be actually the blinking one. With this rig, you need to make sure that the blinking is very fast. And it is relatively super easy and fast to do. Good evening, Juliet. And same approach for here. This is to preserve outer eye, and this is to make her blink. The order you mesh them really doesn't matter. Okay, now I will continue meshing the face, just simple stuff, not too detailed. Add few vertices so I control the cheekbones. And I'm thinking about this portion. Maybe this as well. Okay, I think it's enough. Let me see it in dimmed version of the mesh. I'm not sure about the eyebrow. Maybe I need to add some and also continue to this edge. Yeah, let's leave it now. Okay, I will make sure the 3D working well, but let's add the ear bones. So okay, let's create a bone. It's gonna be super easy and cheap way to do it. I will create one bone for the face to move, and then we'll create bones for eyes that will be blinking. I will make them the direction properly so they, when I scale them, they do close that eye. same would go here. So this is for scaling, and this is for container of the eyes, I guess. I don't need it. So let me bind them. And I will start taking care of the 3D and later the ear bones, etc. Selecting this, I will make sure all eyes are inside that, so you will see how easy it is to do. And that's it. It should be mostly done. I will need to create forehead for this section. So we have our basic 3D. It's super not good, but it will be there in very short amount of time. You don't need to worry about I'm giving the value to all the head. So this is our face, and now we just need to make it even better. If you have time, you can go ahead and create another bone for this section, but I really don't need that. Instead, I will worry about this ear. Okay, so now we need to preserve this blue bone. We already gave that 3D, so we need to preserve that blue bone value. And for that, we can lock it and then give values to this tip with this bone. So our ear bone also works. Right now, it's not gonna work. So if we go ahead and give full value, you will see that it's actually changing the color. It's not visible here, but you will see it will go up to this blue point. It will not interfere with it. So let's give it higher values and then reduce the values. And we have our ear, but at the same time, we did not disrupt the 3D of the ear that we did. It's not a big deal, but at least you now see how it's being used. As you can see, we also have that 3D portion here. It's moving with it a little bit here, tip, and I want it to maintain. For that, I will again continue keeping it locked and do it. So you can see it with this. Its color is clearly different. Yeah, I like it. So now, even if we move it, need to preserve this section. We will still be able to move the ears. So this is a very easy way to rig the face. And with some more touches, we will also be able to blink the eyes. Just touching some things. Okay, I'm happy with this. Good looking 3D. Now the last thing you need is just give full value to this bone. It's easy to do, that's why I left it at the end. So this bone and this bone, and the rotation of the bone is super important here. So now you just scale it and boom, it's blinking. You can create a bone that will constrain it for the blinking. Anyway, she will be blinking mainly at the same time. So you can create a bone, constrain or scales to that. Let me do it. I will call it blink and call it also scale. So animators will also know how to use it. Enable the name, show it. Select all the eye bones and create a constraint. It doesn't matter if we merge or no. And now we just need to give 100%. So if you scale it, scale one axis, no, the green one, you will see she will scale. And I will go ahead and remove this so you accidentally do not scale. Hey. I don't know what's happening. It should listen at least on one axis. But it's not. Interesting. It seems that both should be enabled to make the green axis controllable. So this is the blink. One bone and in another frame, just blink it in one frame and a few more frames, just open it. The character will not be able to move her eyes, I mean the gaze, left or right, but she will be able to look left and right. For that you just move the face left and right. It's not perfect, but there is simple trick for that. You can incorporate also the rotation, scale, and I don't know, even sharing if you really want it. And fix some things if you think you can easily do it, like the chin. Easy to fix, I guess. Now let's see. I like it. If we look at it from far, it's not that terrible. And we did it in like 15 minutes, I guess. Yeah, 15 minutes. So with blinking, oh, we have eyebrow here. Hello, eyebrow. With blinking and the face and ears, etc. And no constraints. Cool. Let's see the result from the poll. Oh yeah, we should stream. That's great. Okay, then I will sum up now explaining what we will be doing in the next poll. Let me end this poll so you can also see the results. Good. I'm really excited. So in the next stream, I will be duplicating this and adding to the hair, the head, and making it actually work. And I have no idea how am I disabling the hands. Somehow there is a new hotkey that I click it and they disable. Anyway, so we will be fixing this hair, duplicating it, adding it to the other parts, checking how it works with the constraints, and I will create a poll to see if you really want to see them to be bound to the shoulders with an optional constraints. And after that, we will do one idle animation where she's floating in the air and one walking animation, just the same thing, just different poses. And so we can see how the directional movement works. And yeah, and last one would be VFX. So for VFX, we will see pretty much, oh, I already deleted it. But in first stream, you will see that we will see some smokes, magic smokes coming out. We will see this with some floating magic inside using sequence. We will see this easy stuff, one image. And yeah, pretty much it. Maybe we will have time to, at the end, compose and put her inside her background and maybe add some smoke here so we see some depth. Cool. And that would be it, guys. Thank you very much for staying with me. I'm really excited to do the last part of the stream. Okay, let me close it.